Good afternoon.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
September 12th at 4 p.m. We're calling the Finance Committee meeting to order at 4 p.m. As we have remote members, roll call for your attendance, please.
Jerome Bezikas,
Mark Hussey.
Andrea Wood,
And Don Hayes. Don't see anyone else on the attendance on Zoom, so we have a quorum with four. We may see Josh Levitt in a short bit. He was coming in from Boston today to attend. Well, coming up from working today. The meeting is being recorded and being played live on Channel 9. And the recording can be played back on YouTube and on the Townsend channel later.
we'll get our faces over there.
What's that?
We'll get our faces up there.
Oh, if you
This-
lean in, it doesn't get you. Try it.
At this point,
See, they got me.
I have
Oh, no, it
no
does.
additions or deletions to the agenda. Is there anything else anybody would like to add to the agenda?
I have nothing.
Okay. Andrea, anything you'd like to?
Nope, I'm fine.
Thank you. With that, we will go into the work session. And if you excuse me for a sec, I'm just going to get the pop-up off the screen.
Excuse me, what's
Yeah.
going on with this?
There was a pop-up that said allow recording, so I just hit okay.
Oh, okay.
So it's no big deal. It's kind of like it was in the screen. I didn't want it to be up the whole time. Okay, the first item on the work session was to review the FY '24 budget process and the FY '23 transfer requests regarding the input that had been captured in the August meeting. I put it into a format. There was a table to try to identify what the issue was, little description of the problem, and then recommendations that we had for going forward, how to prevent or how to make corrective actions to things. As I look at this, it references some of the documents that we reviewed, the transfer, and I'm wondering if the format isn't quite right. If we did it differently, where we identified similarly, but just list them, and the first thing listed would be the document that we have reviewed that brought up the issue. You know, so in the case, sorry, there was a transfer to an account. There was a special town meeting account. That's the one. It's kind of like, rather than referencing just that, bring up the document that actually had the issue so we can see it and present it. So it's presented in more of a form. You don't have to search for what we're talking about. So it's just a format change, but it's at this particular time, that's where I was looking at it. It gets a little bit, all of the information we need is not presented in front of you. So
Right, so if you
have
had those two documents in your hand, you could just easily do that.
Right, and so by listing that first and having a picture of that document, this is one we're talking about. We're transferring to this account, and then the next two sections would be what the issue was and what we think we need to do going forward. And identify it. So that to me, would make it a little.
And all of this is to prepare for the budget next year to see if maybe a lot of those things should have been in the budget.
Correct.
Correct.
And as we present this, we're gonna present it to the town administrator
Mhm.
and have a meeting with the board of selectmen, get onto their agenda.
Yeah.
And present this and have this discussion directly with the board of selectmen.
Yeah, and possibly add it to the budget instead of having all of it,
Right,
yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
Yeah.
and because, when we get to the one where we had a transfer request for an energy line, happened to be for fire, that line is the same number this year as it was last year,
as far as the amount, yeah.
the initial amount. So
Yeah,
the
and it was
FY20
low last year, we knew that.
It was low last year, it's
Yeah.
at the same level, so
Yeah,
that might be something we want to adjust
yeah,
into,
yeah.
as the special, if we have one into special.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I think, again, what I should do is take an action from this to relay it out, include that additional information, and we can review it at our next scheduled meeting. And then make sure it's good, and then get on the agenda for the selectmen.
Mhm.
If there's no objections, to that, I'll take that action. From this. Is there anything that people read in it that I know, the one thing that comes to mind, we talked about the budget lines with the other, and we said we shouldn't exceed, and we didn't have a dollar value
And we didn't want repeated others in the same,
in the same category.
Correct,
So it's kind of like we want it, once if there's $20,000 in other, and one item is $10,000, we want to break that line and try to keep the other lines that are under a particular dollar. So it would be, and again, we might just, in our statements, suggest that they set what that maximum number
right,
is.
and it's simply for transparency, we don't,
It is.
You know?
And again, when we get to the next item and talk about some of the audit items, they were talking about how sometimes we're combining things on lines and it's not clear what the line needs will actually be for. I mean, it
oh,
would,
I see, because it's got, yeah,
yeah, if there were 2 or 3 or 4 things on a line and you transfer one line,
what is it called?
What-
What really is this?
what is it really for?
Right,
And
exactly.
how do you know what
Yeah,
what to approach? So, it sort of, to me, parallels, that feedback from the audit.
Andrea, you're awful quiet.
Yes, you're doing fine though.
Andrea, did you read through the table and that had been put together about the budget process and the transfer requests and items that we had found? I just want to make sure that I picked up everything that you had highlighted to us during the meeting.
No, I don't know what you're referring to.
Okay, it was sent out about a week ago. There was a form. I'm gonna relay it out, so what I'll say is, in the new form that comes, we'll review it and bring it into the next meeting. And reformatting this and bringing in screenshots of those documents should be relatively quick to do, so I should be able to do that.
Okay, if you sent it out a week ago, I did read it. I just, for some reason, do not remember it.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. It's kind of like, and if you had, you probably would have made notes to bring up, but we'll review it one more time. And that will be in the October meeting. We'll get it out, get the reformatting done and get it out for review, so that we can finalize it. I think it's the October 10th And, we'll see at what point we can get onto the selectmen's agenda at that point. Okay, so that again, the last, I had 4 items to look and see if there was anything to list, finalize the information. The last item is approve the schedule, with the selectmen. So that one piece is postponed until next meeting. Just review it, see if anybody had anything else, any additional thoughts from the FY 24 budget or FY 23. Yeah.
I didn't see anything different. I mean,
Okay.
I think we caught, well, just my opinion, I thought we caught quite a bit and
Yeah,
most of it, so.
it captured most of it. It's kind of like, I do capture it, try to capture it, we captured it into the Excel spreadsheet during the meeting, and just reformatted it.
Exactly.
With additional words to try to describe it, so. Again, we'll have one more time to review it before we finalize and get it to the Board of Selectmen. So if there's nothing else there, we'll move to audit review. We had a joint meeting with the audit committee, the finance committee, and the Board of Selectmen on the September 5th agenda for the Board of Selectmen. Roselli and Clark provided their feedback. They went over their management letter and also provided a 46-page document with all of the detail behind the audit. There were items mentioned in the management letter for suggestions for improvements. Some of them I thought parallel what we had to process.
I thought the same thing, some of them, yeah.
Not all, but
Not all of us, yeah, some of them,
some of them, and I could see it. So, it,
Excuse me,
yeah,
what I was unclear of exactly, the audit that he presented, and I thought he was the best presenter we've ever had. I understood more of what was going on than I have in any of the discussions with the auditors previously.
mhm.
Is that audit was for 22, correct?
That
Yeah.
was for 22, yes. Yeah.
So some of those things may have been corrected by the audit for 23.
They were, because of the timing of the audit, they were in here as we were closing the books and getting their reports. So they were able to work with the town accountant and the treasurer and try to improve what the FY 23 audit is going to be. There may still be some issues that we hadn't overcome, but their suggestions of reviewing budgets with the department heads and doing audits is a good solid one, because that is going to allow it not to get too far out of whack. The budget lines won't try not to go negative, but in the discussion I had so far with town administrator, I suggested that there might be blackout months where the accountant is too busy doing like the reports for the audit or the closures or the free cash validation that is done in December. So there may be months that we block out because there's just too much work for the accountant to be able to be sitting down. But with that, we identify at that point 10 months, and you can do, say, 2 departments a month or 2 budgets a month, and just schedule them through the year, not in the busy time of the department, so that they work out for the accountant and for the department heads. So it's not bad. The item that they found, it was 140,000, the number came into my head. It was 140,000 that, was on a budget line that we can only use for debt service right now. And the maximum we can use is 50,000 a year. So we have on that line about $50,000, that we can do for debt service. So that could go to capital budget this year. because that-
The excess, okay.
The access could go
Yeah.
50,000 to, so there's work and discussions to be had, where are we gonna have debt
That wouldn't
service?
go to the general fund.
It can't go to the general fund, it can only go to debt service.
Oh, I see, you said that, that's right, yeah, yeah.
However, the fact that we have now $50,000, we could free up something else that is in the budget that has been allocated from the general fund,
And then add it,
reallocate that back.
Yeah.
So we pay debt service with that excess.
right, and take
Line.
that excess and the other
And-
excess.
And the other line that
Yeah.
that money frees up, again, we have to have articles, it has to be done properly.
Right,
We can't just
yeah,
take money from the line and move it, but we have that opportunity of 3 years of about 50,000 a year. And then there was another 26 or so $1,000 that is in lines from old, special town meeting or annual town meeting
it's never been
allocations that's
used.
never been used.
Did we ever straighten up the capital, all those capital projects that have been holding money for
No.
years? I know we
Some
took,
of them, yeah.
yeah, we got some of them,
we-
right?
Some of them we did when Ross Perry was here.
Yeah.
We went through and reallocated, I think there were about 10 at that
It was
particular.
quite a bit of money.
There was money that we were able to use and then we allocate to other capital.
Yeah.
Budget. So, as we have places that we're looking for money now, to fill some of the gaps. So the ARPA money, when it goes away, we have to fill those gaps.
That was
So-
on the report, I
Mhm.
wasn't
No,
surprised.
I was not surprised by that. It's something that we've brought up.
I mean, it only makes sense, I mean, or it doesn't make sense.
Yes, it makes sense that we need to prepare. And as we move forward, we need to be looking at the future. How do what's the 5-year plan? I keep on saying.
Exactly, yeah, no, but you're right, you keep saying it, but you're right.
So, that's one of the things that we have on our sheet and process.
Mhm.
is Let's look at what the budget for, put the 5-year.
Yeah.
Revenue and 5-year.
You kind of started that, did you, or did you not? Yeah, that's what I thought, and it looked really, it was going. it looked
I
well.
think it will work well.
Yeah.
And, so those are the pieces. I don't know that, the audit mentioned the 5-year because they're looking at where they are in the past along with
Mhm.
trying to help us with the future. So,
Yeah, I don't think it was on the audit, was it?
No,
Right.
the 5-year wasn't on the audit, but the fact that they bring up ARPA tells us that we have to be looking at what the future's gonna bring.
When does that end?
2 years, 2 more?
We have to have the funds allocated and used by FY 25, used by halfway through FY 26, I think it is.
So it's good till 26?
It's good until like December 31st and 26th. And then after that, the ARPA money is totally
Do
gone.
we know how much is left, or have we ever seen
can-
an expense?
We have that, I will take
I
that,
haven't.
yeah, I will take that as something to put on next meeting's agenda.
Yeah.
And I'll have my computer charged up and my.
Oh, is that the
I
issue?
don't
Is it on there? Where's your laptop?
I don't have a power source.
I would think there's gonna have to be considerable reorganization when we come to discussing the ARPA fund.
Oh,
It will, but the document is posted on the town website, so we can get to it at any time and see the current.
Oh, it
status of the
is.
project.
and it's a list of expenses?
It's a list of the expenses, how much has been allocated
Oh,
to.
I didn't know that.
Different projects, but I think it's a good,
Well, we have so many ongoing things
mhm,
that we paid for with ARPA funds, which were one-time money. So
Yeah.
we're gonna get tripped up there, unless we've just become rich and I didn't notice.
Yeah.
The town's out buying lottery tickets.
I have a question too. When will, do you know, excuse me, when we will do the 23 audit? Because now we're in fiscal 24, so.
Right, we are in 24. Typically, the audits begin in the November timeframe. No, wait a minute. The free cash certification is November to December. I think it's in Q1. So January of 2024 is the start of the audit. I can go back and visit. We put the dates that we wanted the auditors to go in. We put that into the quote when we went out for bid from the auditors. So, but it's good to hear that you like it and understood Tony Griselli there. He was our choice. We went away. I think it was Melanson before that, which
Yeah.
is now different company. Melanson has been acquired, and so I think, yeah, it's kind of like we have 2 more years on that contract before we go out and look for another auditor. So we do have 2 more years for Roselli and Clark. Again, when we did the quote, we put in the dates that we wanted them to do the audit. It was about a quarter earlier than everybody else did, just so that we could try to get it closer to the end of the year and make it more real time. That was the thought going when we did that quote. So we'll see.
You know, when you
See if we can-
you're working on 22, 23, and 24, they get
Exactly.
Declined.
Yeah.
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 So. Right, just making a note to add the, and again, I'll go back and see what I have on the request for quotes and what we had for the dates. So, anything, any other questions? We have the ability, the Resilient Park will allow us to go back, so if we have questions on the audit, if we want to review it again, if there's questions now, we can bring them up. I can try to answer it, or we can send off.
Actually, I agree with Andrew. They did a great job of presenting it. It was very,
exactly.
very, it was good.
Yeah.
Very, you could understand it for sure.
Right.
Well, I liked it in the letter, it used the legalese kind of language, you know, construction. And yet when he explained it to us, he explained it in much more simple terms, and the vocabulary was so easy to understand.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think, again, that explanation and the basic description of, in the language, helps you understand that legalese, and next year,
Exactly. Yeah.
we may understand it a step further. And we may not need that translation going forward, but, as we have conversations with the treasurer and town administrator, we can see, which items on there they're gonna address. I mean, Tony talked about addressing 2 or 3, of those items each year,
Right.
so that you incrementally get better. You don't wanna try to attack.
Whittle that list down.
Whittle the list down rather than try to chop the whole thing at once. So chopping the whole thing at once, you tend to tend to get overwhelmed with too much.
Yeah.
Well, I think when, the subject of all that money, it sounded like it was floating around, but
Mhm.
I got that was 22.
Right.
23.
Yeah,
That
right,
was
that's
22.
probably,
That's
well,
what-
some of it's gone.
Yeah, some of it's gone, yeah.
Some of it's gone, but some of it is still there.
Do we know how much is still there?
It's in the management letter.
Okay.
Like I say, the two that come to mind are the 140,000 that can be used for debt service. And then there's another, I think it was 27,000 that can be, that are in those dead lines, the lines that are no longer active. They had no activity in all of 22, and there was a balance in it. So those are the ones he was talking about. So that can be used for debt service, or it can be taken to town meeting as line items, to close those lines and move those balances into the general fund.
Mhm.
So that again, I think is, if we don't do debt service with it, if we bring it into the general fund, again, it's a way to get.
We can do one of each, right?
Yeah, so we can do 50,000 in debt service, and the town meeting article that brings that money back into the general fund.
Yeah.
And then we can use that for, as you said, there's a lot of fixed income funds that are a lot higher in balance than just getting money in your savings account.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, next item. If there's nothing else on the audit, I would just ask one more time if there's anything
good.
else.
No.
Okay, then moving in to, could you pass me copies of town meeting? Thank you. Andrea, I did not get a copy. I was handed the copy of the article for the special town meeting, just before we came into the room. It should be posted on the website at this point. And so we were gonna go to the articles. Do you want to try to read online, or do you want me to read the article? If we go.
I'd like it if you read the article,
Okay.
Of course you
Fair
would.
enough.
please.
There's a total of eight articles on the special, town meeting.
8,
8, yep,
at the selectmen's meeting, there was 4.
yep.
7 of them are just about the same.
There are certain of them that are similar. Each property they're brought out individually. That will be, so the first one is to see if the town will vote to authorize the board of selectmen to enter the lease, power purchase, or any other energy storage agreement with Solicit Energy Corp. LLC for solar energy projects located in the town. Through the program created by Power Options, a nonprofit corporation providing solutions to municipalities and other nonprofit to reduce cost, carbon, and complexity of energy, or take any action in relation to that too. So this one sounds,
No financial impact.
I would have to,
I know, they're entering into a lease.
they're entering into a lease, so don't know if it's them leasing land from us and providing us, or if the lease is $0 to give us the benefit of reduced cost on energy.
It'd be nice to know before they put it in
Yeah.
front of the
Before
town,
they,
you know?
before they sign it.
Yeah, or be, if we're gonna vote on it, that would be nice to know.
Well,
You know, as a resident, you know?
right, yeah, and that's the thing, there is no
There's no-
background with this, so. Meeting's on the 26th, it looks like, If we take no act, we don't know whether there's a financial impact, so we don't know whether we recommend or not, so maybe we have to have one more meeting to,
Maybe we get an explanation, because
yeah.
the people in town are gonna wanna know too. They're
Yeah,
not gonna just go,
absolutely.
yeah, go ahead, enter into a
Let
lease.
me see if Eric is here or stuff. Fine, so, well,
Are we meeting again before the 26th?
well, that's, if,
That's coming up after this.
if we had all the answers we needed, I'd say no, we didn't.
Yeah, right. No, yeah.
We didn't need to meet, but, in this case, we may need to meet to go over, what our recommendations are gonna be.
Because we have meetings set up, right?
We have meetings,
We went out quite a few weeks. We're gonna start at 5 at one
we're
point.
gonna start at 5:30.
Yeah, see, I haven't got the dates down.
Okay.
Oh, you didn't know
And I
that?
was gonna ask if anybody had written down, right?
I got them in here.
October 10th,
Okay.
October 24th, and I think I had November 7th, but I don't think we can do November 7th. I think we have to do November 14th.
Let me see what I got in here.
November 7th would be a selectman meeting. If I have the right calendar.
That would be a Tuesday, yeah. And what time are we gonna meet on those things? 5:30?
We were gonna go to 5:30. The 4 o'clock is up to Josh at times. And so in order to, get his schedule, we voted to keep him on Tuesdays, and by doing that, we're going opposite the selectmen Tuesdays. So if they're on the first and the third Tuesdays in a month, we need to go to second and fourth. Or keep it on the even weeks.
So we have nothing before.
So we don't have anything before the 26th. We could meet early on the 26th, and then come up with the recommendations,
What is it?
which is 2 weeks from today.
For Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday. Or we can give it a week and do it on the 19th and be a week ahead before the 26th. Maybe that makes more sense.
It makes more sense actually,
Because
because we'll
then-
have more questions, who knows?
We may have more questions, number one. Number two is that gives us the opportunity to write our recommendations and get them printed and.
Yeah.
For the town clerk to
Okay.
distribute at the
So when would that be, the 19th?
19th, a week from today.
At what time?
Since we haven't moved into the 5:30 month yet, let's keep it at 4. I'd recommend keeping it
Yeah.
at 4.
Okay, I will not be here.
Okay?
Where are you gonna be?
I'm going to be at the dentist with my grandson. I'm the Uber.
All right.
We will, yeah.
We'll make do.
I'm sure.
Okay, so we don't have enough detail on Article 1 to make any motion.
So the 26th is out, then, right?
The 26th is out. That's gonna be town meeting, so you're
Okay.
welcome to attend town meeting. Special town meeting.
And that's at what time?
They have it posted for 7 PM. So we know how special stuff,
Oh, for quorums.
for quorums. It's kind of like, so we'll see. It's kind of like the maybe.
I'm gonna do my best to be here.
I'll do that.
So then Article 2, to see if the town will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to convey a fee simple or lesser interest in the land or buildings therein known as numbered as 44 Pittsburgh Road, Unit 405, AKA 1-5 Pittsburgh Road, as shown on the assessor's map. And it's map 34, block 38, lot 1, or in any portion or portions thereof. together with any interest.
What are they doing? What's it for?
This, ultimately, this is to, put up for sale or auction the
That's why I'm
condominium at 44 Pittsburgh Road, Unit 405. That's the majority.
So they're putting it up for sale
They're putting it up, yeah, this motion is to put it up for
to
sale.
pay for back taxes.
So, exactly, it was taken for back taxes.
The condominium
This is a condominium in, is it Pine?
It must be down here.
down here?
Yeah,
Yeah, down on Route 13,
Okay.
south of. So I mean, if that does anything, it would
the
put
income,
money, yeah, put money back into that.
unless we get sued because the place caved in. Yeah.
It's kind of like, I have not personally walked this one.
Uh-huh.
I have.
I've heard stories about it.
Yeah, I don't, but I think we had two, and one is being contested, so we're doing that.
Mm.
Now, do we, okay, so
There's no real,
there's no cost, but there's a revenue impact. Would we be for selling it to put it into the general fund? Money back into the general fund that gives us,
that's a good thought, yeah. I mean, where is this money gonna go?
well, that's, yeah, those.
I know it's coming to the town, but what?
Right, we haven't put money back into the reserve fund for when we took money and paid the back wages.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not reserve fund, stabilization fund, excuse me.
Okay, yeah.
Get my funds properly
Yeah.
identified. So the stabilization fund, we transferred about $250,000 to pay back wages in, I think that was 2022.
Okay,
Or going into well, let's say 2022. We have not grown that.
we should, yeah.
The stabilization fund is under 5% of the town budget. It's about 1.2
What should it be?
mil. I probably can be up to 10%. It
I'm
depends
sure it's
on what you're
debatable.
gonna, it's debatable that, DLS will give you a range, and
Yeah.
I think, the top end is 10 to 15% of the budget.
Would that be the only account we could replenish? I know we used a bunch of free cash. Would we be eligible for that too?
Yeah. If we put it into the general fund, it doesn't become free cash.
Oh,
It's
free cash has to be certified at the end of the year.
at the end of the year.
Yeah,
So-
okay.
So it's in the
Yeah,
general fund. It's
Yeah,
money
yeah, yeah.
that Could be.
Got it. My mistake, yeah.
Yeah, no. It's all the timing of things.
I know.
Excuse me, did
Yes.
we go back a bit? When you said, Don, that there'd be no cost, you mean no cost for the auction? Because there is a cost.
Yeah, there is a cost to the auction, right?
But hopefully
We have-
there's a profit at the end.
We have to pay the auctioneer, so the net proceeds from the sale.
Auctioneers usually do it for a certain percentage of what is got.
Yeah.
Is it just the building? I mean, just the unit, or is it?
It must be just the
It would be
unit.
the building and the contents, I would think. It's got, in this case, the unit and the contents. I don't know that we go in.
Right, in this
We don't-
case, the unit, yeah,
We don't go in and clean them out.
right.
It's kinda like,
Do we have somebody go in and clean it out and fix it up properly to make it presentable?
We actually don't. It's
Oh,
kinda
really?
like it's kind of like.
Take it as is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's kind of like, that's the way the properties have been.
Oh, okay,
sold
okay,
to this
yeah.
point. One of the items about not making it presentable, not bringing it up, is that once you have a sale price and it's higher than what the back taxes are, you then have to pay the net proceeds to the original owner.
Really? So we only want to sell it for what is owed in tax?
That's the biggest, generally, that's what you're looking for.
Because you would have to give a percentage or all of
I think anything above and beyond what,
What the attack back
what,
taxes
what the,
were.
what the tax taxes, back taxes.
You know, I read that before. I read that just a few months ago in the paper,
Hmm,
that happened, and the town was really upset about it.
right, they
Yeah.
keep it up, that whatever, it's kind of like they get more money and.
Yeah, why clean it up? Yeah,
Right.
I hear you. All right,
But,
that makes sense.
you know, so that, that's the piece. So, in this case, they did not, the Board of Selectmen did not indicate that what they were gonna do with the money, so that the assumption is it's going, I'd say it's general fund.
It's a question we can ask, I guess, while we're out there.
Yep.
And that would apply through Article 7?
Well, I'm gonna see with Article 4.
No, through Article 5, I'd say.
So, Article 2, 3, Article 4, it was discussed that they wanted to use the proceeds from Article 4, which is 540 Main Street, which is the current water company building out in West Townsend.
Oh, yeah.
So it's occupied, it's in good shape, it's a half-acre lot, and probably has a septic. So, you know, think something like the garage or some, you know, some other business would be suitable. So that's the only one that was not taken for taxes. 106 Kings Road, Article 3 was, 182 Warren.
So they want to sell that water department building now?
They want to get started. We have to do Title V on the septic. We have, so.
Isn't it? Oh, the one right on Main Street.
Right, the one right on-
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
from-
Okay, I thought you meant the brick building out.
Yeah, no, the one.
Yeah,
the pump
okay,
house-
yeah,
pump house
yeah.
stays.
Oh, is it got the brick building out front?
No,
No, the brick building is the pump house.
that's a pump
Oh,
house.
yeah.
That's what I was thinking of it.
So.
You know, right up the
Little
street where they
further,
park
yeah.
their truck.
By
Yeah.
by the building that's set back, it's
Okay.
a, consignment shop. I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
So the discussion at the selectmen's meeting had been to use the proceeds from this to fund a line on the budget that was going to be for town employee retiree health benefits. So, it was a way to, so,
Is that really the board of, is this the water commissioners own that?
the water, the town of, the water
They're a
department,
different entity, right?
they're different entities.
Right.
So,
How are we gonna get this, like what we did years ago to,
well, the town water department would have to transfer it back to the town because
oh, okay.
when-
Originally it was the town's? Well, who knows? Yeah, right.
Mm, yeah.
Doesn't, not necessarily.
not necessarily.
Right.
Kind of like,
Yeah.
but right now it's Townsend Water Department, so you're right. If those proceeds come into the water department, their water department fund monies that would have to be transferred back to the
I'm
town.
not a water taker, so I don't care.
No, it would have no impact on the rate anyway.
No, oh, no.
But, yeah.
But it's gonna go to, a retirement fund,
They
right?
wanted
Yeah.
it as the seed money. However, my comment was, that's good for the first year. What's going,
What's gonna fill it, yeah.
what's gonna keep.
It's like
filling
using
it?
ARPA funds.
It is, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
This is a
It makes
one-time-
sense.
This is a one-time fund. I
Yeah.
wanna see, show, I
What's
would
gonna
love,
grow it?
I would like to see what's gonna continue to grow it and how it's gonna be managed, before. So we can take this as our comment section. I can send. the
That's a
questions.
great idea though, Don. Good,
I mean, it's similar to what we had brought up, you know,
Yeah.
questions that said, when you add a position, have a form that says how you're gonna fund it for the year.
right.
Don't wait for free cash at the end of the year and transfers and hope you've got money. It's kind of like.
This isn't a person, it's a fund.
This is now a fund. How are you gonna continue?
How you gonna fund it?
What are your estimate, what are the estimated takes?
Yeah.
And puts into
Yeah.
that account, for that multiple time. I mean, it's good to fund it and set it up for one, so you're gonna hope you have a property to sell and keep on funding it into the future, I don't know.
Right.
Kind of like, so, would like to see what the future looks like for that fund if we're gonna do that.
Mhm.
So Article 5 is 182 Warren Road. And that, again, is like Articles 2, 2 and 3. So 2,
Right.
3, and 5, we still want to know where the money's going for those. But I would expect back into general fund, because what happened is our revenue for taxes was reduced in those years if these buildings did not pay their taxes. So that would need to, it would be revenue back into where tax.
What's 182, how far up is that?
182 is almost in Winterburg.
Okay.
And you're gonna find 180 or 178, and you're gonna find 186.
Oh,
Yep, it kind of, it's been so long, there's no driveway anymore. Everything's grown over. But a couple of years ago, we did vote to board that up,
oh, I remember that, yeah.
out of the reserve fund.
So is there anything to build a house
There's
still
a
there?
house still there.
The trees growing up inside of it and everything else?
And all around it, yeah, so
Okay,
again, I guess we'll ask the fund, what are the funds for Article 2 through 5?
Right. But again, you assumed it was going in the general fund,
On those other,
on the
yeah,
other,
on
the ones for the homes.
the ones for the house and the
Yeah.
condos.
Yeah.
The water building, we
Yeah, they
call-
wanted to do a retirement.
they wanted to do the retirement fund, and so again, being the finance committee, we want to see what the short term and the long term is for. Okay. Any other questions on Articles 2, 3, 4, and 5, the selling of properties? No? Okay. Article 6. This is a general bylaws change.
No financial impact there.
Yeah, so we're changing,
What are you changing?
we're changing the bylaws, chapter 124, entitled Town Meeting, section 124.6, entitled Service of the Warrant, by adding a new sentence at the end. It follows, should any of the above locations be unavailable for posting for any reason, the Board of Selectmen shall designate an alternate person. So we, in the charter, we say it's gonna be posted fire station, town hall, and fire station, or,
Police station, I presume.
yeah,
Memorial Hall,
Okay, there you go.
Harbor, West
yeah.
Townsend.
So if any of these locations is not available, they can appoint an alternate location for posting of a warrant article.
Technically speaking, we don't have to comment on this one. However,
No.
it's so important, perhaps we should.
Yeah, we could,
Yeah,
yeah,
posting at a designated 5 locations is required, and if one of these buildings is unavailable or inaccessible, then it makes,
temporarily, I believe.
temporarily
we should.
assigned,
Yeah.
and we can, so I would entertain the motion that we, recommend this, and I can add some verbiage to the recommendation as to why we think it should pass.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we recommend Article 6, see if the town will vote to amend General Bylaws 124. Last sentence reading, should any of the above locations be unavailable for posting for any reason, the Board of Selectmen shall designate an alternate posting for the location within the same precinct.
one second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mark, a second by Jerry. Any further discussion?
None.
No, none heard. A roll call vote to recommend Article 6.
Gerald Bezikas, yes.
Mark Hussey, yes?
Andrea Wood, yes.
Yeah, and John Hayes, yes. Okay, thank you. Article 7, to see if the town will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to petition the general court for special legislation as set forth below, to change the Board of Health from an elected board to a board appointed by the Board of Selectmen, provided, however, that the general court may make any clerical or editorial changes of form only to the bill, unless the Board of Selectmen approve amendments to the bill before enactment by the general court. It being authorized hereunder to do so, which are within the scope of the general public objectives of the petition, or take any other action thereto.
We don't have to comment on this one either. However, I won't speak I'll make sure everybody knows I'm not speaking for the committee. But I'm gonna speak against this one. For absolutely,
I'm gonna agree
positively.
Yeah.
We agree with you.
I was gonna say, I was gonna do the same, if I was at the finance committee
Yeah.
table, I'm gonna walk up to, I'm sorry, it's kind of like, I do not condone the actions of the board member, but I don't think changing a board from elected to.
Exactly.
It's gonna be the case.
Well, plus turning it into from an elected board to an appointed board creates the same situation that caused that person to speak out anyway.
Mhm.
That's
So you're
right.
curing the problem with the problem.
Well, I see it as if there's if there's a majority on the Board of Selectmen that have a particular thought process, and they appoint a majority on the Board of Health, it's kind of like, it takes away the power of the people and the voting of the people. that have
Exactly.
elected positions.
Absolutely.
Again, we're not making a recommendation as a finance committee, we are.
Expressing our personal
expressing
opinions.
Our personal opinions at this point, so, I would entertain the motion that the finance committee make no recommendation on Article 7.
I'll make that motion on Article 7. We have no recommendation.
I'll
Second.
second that.
Oh, okay, we had a motion and a second, any further discussion?
None.
Roll call vote to make no recommendation on Article 7.
Gerald Mazegas, no recommendation.
Is this the recommendation, though, to say,
This is to say no recommendation.
right, to
So-
say no recommendation?
Right,
So
a yea would mean no recommendation.
a yes would be making a no recommendation, am I right?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I just wondered, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mark Hussey, yes.
Andrea Wood, yes.
And Don Hayes, yes. Okay, and last article on the special town meeting warrant, to see if the town will vote to change the Board of Health from an elected board to a board appointed by the Board of Selectmen, subject to acceptance by the voters at annual town election.
I'll make a motion that we do not recommend Article 8.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion not to recommend, and it's seconded. And so a yes vote would be no recommendation on Article 8 also.
Gerald Mazegas, yes.
Mark Hussey, yes.
Andrea Wood, yes.
And Hayes, yes. We have no recommendation, okay. And we have it reported and voted that that's how we have.
Yes, we have that recommendation.
Yeah,
So we're gonna go over the lease cost and also where the funding is gonna go from the sale of properties.
Yeah.
And what was the,
that was,
was that it? Oh, yeah, I questioned the fund for, how they're gonna fund.
how are they gonna fund it on the ongoing basis?
Exactly,
So-
yeah,
This is to be, this is, the idea is, it's a long selling period, they have to get to Title V, once they get Title V, then they have to do remediation to pass Title
mhm,
V. Once they get to that point, the article should state that we're not gonna sell it before the water department is ready to move out,
yeah,
until the new building is ready. Once they have moved into the new facility, then that's when that will be sold. Or they can sell it beforehand with, as they sell it, it's part of the
with the
condition.
stipulation they can't move into.
They can't move in
Yeah,
until-
yeah,
until water department gets moved out, whatever that is, that timeframe is.
How's that song, that one, a commercial? Must be.
One never knows.
Yeah, I think.
Well, with the play center next door there,
Yeah.
the thrift shop,
Thrift shop next door and,
maybe not commercial, but,
and antiques across the street.
that's right, that's
It's kind of
right.
like- So I think it.
Hmm.
Yeah, zoning issue, zoning question.
Just curious.
Yep.
Somebody throw a garage in there or something, who knows?
Right, yeah, but then you have to worry about being close and oil disposal and hazardous waste.
It's not underground, I forget what it used to be, is there any underground tanks there?
Are you talking
I
about
don't
that
think so.
little old gas station?
Not,
No, farther up, with the water,
The
water
water
department.
department.
Yeah.
It's okay, I don't know.
I don't remember what
I
that
don't
used to
remember
be.
what it was, yeah,
Huh,
so,
all right.
okay, so we reviewed them, correspondence, the only thing that was in the area was the Townsend Employee Appreciation Day on Wednesday, September 20th. There was a general posting in the.
Hamburgers, hot dogs.
Half a day, yeah. Okay.
Town Olympics.
So there was nothing specific for the finance committee. Okay, and last item on the agenda I had was to confirm the meeting dates. So I'm now gonna try to get September 19th.
Yeah.
For the meeting schedule for that, I'll request and see if, then I have October 10th and October 24th
Yeah.
and November 14th. I think you probably had November 7th before.
I mean, you're all,
All at
It's gonna be
5:30.
5:30. The idea was to try to accommodate Josh and Mitch, you know, and I know for me, it's gonna be beforehand. It's gonna
So what?
be dinner before. Dinner early that night. It's kind of like that, we're gonna have to go meeting.
eat early.
Yeah, it's gonna,
Fall asleep. Oh, but I'll almost be retired, right?
you'll learn.
Yeah.
Okay, I did not have anything else under new business. Is there any new business anybody else would like to bring in?
I have none.
I have nothing.
Okay? And,
I'll make a motion, we adjourn at 5:03.
very good. And do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, a second for the adjournment and roll call vote.
Carolyn, think it's yes?
Mark Hussey, yes?
Andrea Wood, yes?
Hayes, yes. We are unanimous. We are adjourned at 5:03 p.m.